Nabulebu Diaz, honorable members of the Cabinet of Fiji and assistant ministers, honorable members of Parliament, the chairman and members of the Public Service Commission, permanent secretaries and government officials, invited dignitaries, civil servants, ladies and gentlemen, feel free to please sit down wherever you are, if you can, if you want, and to hoist your umbrellas if you like. I want you all to be very comfortable. We begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land we stand on, the people of Rewa, the people of Suba, na kanay titiyo wa turanga nandun mai, wana turanga na roti Suba. We pay our respects to their leaders of the past, those who have made it possible for Fiji to locate its capital here in Suba, and for us to carry out our duties of running the country from the center of governance here in Suba. So we pay our respects to the past leaders, the present leaders, and emerging leaders, and any member who may be here with us this morning. Winawalebu Nabedingomi. I'm deeply honored and greatly delighted to be here. Karimarabiao ni usureti. Mimaituike, kaubawin winaka na nono to wekin dabaki na tamana ni Vengrabi. Babin winaka ni Chigarawa na chairman ni Public Service Commission. Babin winaka turanga ni Taltala and the bossa and Tuberkin na matayin kwa. We're all very grateful for those words of inspiration and wisdom. Taltala, thank you very much. I have a quote. It simply says, "He who loves his country best strives to make it the best." It's a quotation from Robert Ingersoll. Whoever he was or he is, they are great words of wisdom. And they reflect the words given to us by Talatala this morning. Our civil servants work day in, day out, serving the nation, often working late into the night and weekends, in particular those of you serving remote communities in the hard-to-reach interior, the rural and maritime areas. Today, we pay our respects to you, not that of gratitude. In my view, the civil service is not for the faint-hearted. But first of all, remember, you volunteered. You put your hand up to be selected. Your parents assisted in your education and spurred you on to be successful in those, to enable you to find work in the civil service of Fiji. As the Taltala said in the investiture ceremonies earlier this week, behind the medal that's awarded, there is sweat, blood, tears, and sacrifice. Today we hear again from the Taltala the demand for selfless sacrifice. You all here to give back. We're all here because you feel a great sense of national service and pride to the country. We serve our nation, we serve our families, we serve our communities, our religious and cultural organizations, our Banua and provinces through our lives of service. As your Prime Minister, I acknowledge your efforts as the engine room of government and development. I'm proud to be your Prime Minister and Minister responsible for the civil service. Your work, whether it's patrolling and keeping our streets and people safe, drafting policies to guide the delivery of services and programs to our people, and supporting government initiatives, your work keeps the government going and the people safe and secure. In short, you breathe life into our vision as your political leaders. Today and this week, we acknowledge that the services that you provide across the nation enables the implementation of government strategies in order that the people of this nation can live a better life. I acknowledge your innovation, your resourcefulness, your sacrifice, and you do sacrifice a lot to ensure a better life for the people of this land. I was proud, very proud, to attend the investiture ceremonies held this week after a very, very long time. Not only a long time for me to attend, but also a long time for us to witness the investiture ceremony for civil servants. And we congratulate all those that received medals this week. I reminded those that stayed a little longer yesterday that a warrant officer in the army was given at that time the British Empire Medal. And he wanted to instill into the members of the warrant officers and sergeants mess that his medal was recognition of the collective effort of the members of the mess. The sergeant majors, the staff sergeants and sergeants. So this fairly old warrant officer, a lot of experience, got up and Colonel Morrison from New Zealand, who was then commander, was sitting there and made a very short speech to emphasize his point and said, "Commander, sir, President of the Mess Committee, members of the mess, this medal belongs to the mess, but either fellow gonna wear it." You've grown a long way from those days. Your English is much better than mine and his, and you're better equipped to serve the people of Fiji. Those medals were rewards for many, many years of unblemished, loyal duty to the people of Fiji. I also reminded some soldiers who came up to me to receive their long service and good conduct medals, and I said to them, congratulations. That is for long and dedicated service. I don't know well enough, but it's also for good conduct. Maybe it's for undetected crime. You know better than those who write your recommendations. So when somebody is lifting you up, like my introduction today, you know better. You know whether you're worthy of those words of introduction and the medal or not. You know better, and you can do better. The sense of service to the nation, loyalty to the people, self-sacrifice, patience and virtuous service is a long-standing tradition of the service that you represent, that you work in, and which I am glad to see is alive and well in you today. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, our event this morning is the culmination of a week-long program of celebrations. It commenced with a rock market event to support SMEs and included the tree planting and cleanup campaign, as well as a wellness program on Wednesday. And may I ask that the cleanup campaign does not end this week, that we continue in our own back gardens, backyards, in our own compounds, in our own communities, and the parts of Suva where we live. Let us continue to maintain that discipline of keeping our surrounds clean. We had a great program on Wednesday afternoon, the wellness program. We had the selectors out there, but unfortunately we didn't get any of the players selected for the Olympics. But we enjoyed ourselves, did we? Naka. I hope from now on we will contribute and we will appear and participate on those Wednesday afternoon wellness programs. The government has graciously allowed us, civil servants, to be able to come out at 3 o'clock on Wednesday afternoons and be with the rest of our ministries, our offices, come and do a program of physical fitness and physical activities to improve our wellness. Yesterday, my two great-granddaughters, twins, Veuto, had to take in a card, a poster, depicting what they understand as meaning wellness. Their grandmother came to me and said, Tata, what is this? They said, what do you know about wellness? Well, we say it every morning. Somebody asks you, how are you? I'm well, thank you. Are we well? How do you define feeling well? Those are the things that will give us the thoughts and the inspirations to pass on messages to our children, grandchildren, and if you're fortunate enough, great-grandchildren, about what is wellness. A person in the interior of Onolebu or Vitilebu. So sabi ko, abi na ko. Oy, binaka. Na binaka ko ya. Etiki ni nomuni binaka. Nomuni binaka na bengarabi na matentu. Nomuni binaka na bengarabi na kanang bosay na bekame balata na matentu. Ni rejo ko ara lak juna lubena na makumpuna ra ibuli. Erai dan rematan rende tunang kas ni buli. Ela ko juga ni na ibola ni buli. Erai sa umijo na dakakan ni matan tu. They all come to the person as a feeling of wellness. We all contribute to that wellness, but we ourselves have to feel it in ourselves. You cannot give anything you do not have. So, from next Wednesday on, I'll see more of you here at Albert Park. Last year, at the launch of the catering policy for government, it was revealed that NCDs are also a challenge for the civil service as it is for the nation. We emphasized what we should really be looking out for as we cater in our homes, in our ministries' programs of entertainment, And I hope we will have a very healthy spread for our permanent secretaries tonight. Part of my program for the week, I was followed around by some video recorders. They recorded what I do in the day, and they saw that I stepped on the scales before I put on my physical training gear. I told them that 98.2 kg. The following day, it was 97.6. And a day later, it was 96. And I said to them, that is my weight between the first time I represented Fiji in 1970 and the last time I represented Fiji in 1977. No need to be overweight. We can all decide not to be overweight. And I told my doctor, hey doc, we went to Parliament that day and the scales were there and we stepped off the scale. The people from the medical ministry, doctors and nurses were there, whispered to each other. They didn't tell me. And I asked the doctor, what's that? So you're obese. Oh, okay. So I told my doctor, and he said, yes, but that is worked out on the universal scale. They do not take into account the cultural differences and the differences in our ethnic backgrounds and histories and DNAs. So I was encouraged, but I still felt overweight. This program aligns closely to the objective of the UN Public Service Day, which is celebrated in June. And after seeing the camaraderie, after feeling what is called in military circles as the esprit de corps, the spirit of the corps, the spirit of the group that came up today, this week, I intend, as long as I'm Prime Minister, to continue to encourage and emphasize this week of celebration. We won't all be out of the office, but some of us will be out to celebrate and demonstrate what is required of a civil service of a country to provide the service required and needed by the people of the country we work for. In considering the aftermath of cyclones and recent once-in-a-lifetime COVID-19 pandemic, we acknowledge that many civil servants risked their lives for their fellow citizens. Ordinary people know the extraordinary lengths that civil servants go to ensure their safety and well-being during disasters and the consequential rehabilitation processes and recovery that happens after. Moreover, civil servants face significant challenges. Many have endured great hardships to deliver life-changing services to our people. For instance, the pharmaceutical and biomedical teams crossed rivers, hiked mountains, and even go on horseback to deliver essential medicine to rural and maritime communities. Civil servants across the nation faced numerous challenges and difficulties, yet they persevered to provide the much-needed support to the people of this nation. We remember well the pandemic, the teachers serving in the maritime and interior areas without internet access, who went on foot, on horseback, and in outboard motored vessels to deliver lessons, pick up homework, and deliver education to our children while the schools were closed. Their selfless service is testament to the saying that human beings are not placed here on earth for ourselves, but for each other. On behalf of the government and the people of Fiji, I thank each one of you for your service and sacrifice for your fellow citizens. Thank you very much. I'm not. Don't clap. I will now discuss the challenges that face the service. I said earlier, you may sit down. Can't go in a problem. While you keep the machinery of government ticking, there is always room for improvement, and our clients, the people of Fiji, deserve no less than our best. In particular, those that are vulnerable and are marginalized in our communities. Our bosses are the taxpayers whom we serve and have voiced criticism regarding some of the quality of the service we provide. To me, as your Prime Minister and Minister for the Civil Service, our efforts to reform the service, streamline processes and improve our services to the people is a continuing endeavor. It requires looking at government as a whole, reviewing our systems, our greatest asset, our people, and seeing how we can make the changes to improve working conditions, provide incentives, streamline processes, improve service delivery, and reward productivity. The SVT-GBP coalition government that I led in the 1990s began the public service and public sector reform programs. It was not a Fiji initiative. It was a universal attempt to right-size governments as we move towards corporatization and privatization. We're still in this process. We made some progress which have been continued by successive governments. Our recent predecessor made some far-reaching changes. Some of these have been reversed, and we intend to do another system-wide review and reform to fulfill our promise to the people that we will improve the quality and the speed of service delivery to them. It is critical that we identify practices and processes that no longer serve us, or which can be automated, made more efficient, and streamlined with technology. I'm proud that through the upcoming budget, long-awaited wage and salary increases will be effective from the 1st of August, the first since 2017, when individual contracts were first introduced. I assure you that this government will continue to facilitate the allocation of resources to assist you with your roles. To do that successfully, I want to ask you, as head of the government, to honestly express your views and make suggestions without fear, favor, or malice when you are consulted during the reform processes. And as Prime Minister and Minister for the Civil Service, I want to reassure you and affirm that it is your duty, our duty, your duty to advise me, my duty to implement those advices in clusters that will improve our delivery of service and our service to the people. And we will do so honestly and without fear or favor. The shackles of fear in the civil servants of suddenly turning 55 that existed in the previous so many years has been removed with the People's Coalition government introducing the new retiring age. However, a state of mind does not disappear overnight, and it is the process of adjustment. I want to reassure you that civil servants' duty is to serve the people and implement the policies of the government of the day. As civil servants, your loyalty is to the people you serve. I confirm that the government of the day, your primary duty, is to provide honest and competent advice without fear, favor, or malice. I want to dispel the misconception that civil servants owe loyalty to the government of the day. This may be due to the climate of fear that previously existed, but I want to affirm that as civil servants, you must be politically neutral and do your work without fear, favor, or malice. If you feel you cannot be politically neutral, then the best option is to choose another career path elsewhere and a new workplace. And we had quite a high and unacceptable attrition rate in the last 19 months. If you remain and serve with malice, unfortunately, you do a disservice not only to yourselves, but mostly to the people of Fiji, and your days will be numbered. I believe the civil service is a great training ground to learn systems, processes, and to upskill yourself. And the marketability of civil servants means that regional and international organizations benefit from the investment that this government has made in upskilling you, and we're seeing that all the time. We do not begrudge the civil servants who are moving on to greener pastures. It means that government must do more to retain and maintain the institutional capacity of all agencies. For those civil servants leaving for overseas opportunities, they give back to the nation in the form of remittances, which as recently announced reached $1.25 billion in 2023. The budget increases announced last week is indicative of our commitment to ensure that civil servants are incentivized and rewarded for their services. Last year, we increased the retirement age to 60 and initiated tenure appointments to safeguard skills and institutional knowledge within government. Recent policy directions issued this year are now facilitating succession plans and the retention of our people to address skills gaps in the civil service. As we forge ahead, I'm optimistic that services will improve and the targets of the new National Development Plan will be achieved through continued resilience, innovation, and resourcefulness in you, the civil servants. I would like to thank our department partners, our development partners, and stakeholders, without whom our civil service could not effectively carry out its role. Thank you for your unwavering support and assistance. Don't clap yet. In closing, I also want to thank you, and don't clap yet. You are all very much appreciated. There are many training opportunities available to civil servants from development partners, as well as opportunities for advanced tertiary studies. Education is a lifelong process. Take up those opportunities and continue to better yourselves. And keep speaking the truth to power. Continue to give your advice to your ministers and assistant ministers and your superiors without fear. Work with us as we continue the civil service reform, continue to strive for excellence, and continue to love and serve the people of Fiji. While our beloved nation faces many challenges, it is my belief that we have not only the intellect, but also the resources to meet those challenges. No greater resource is available to me as Prime Minister and to my fellow cabinet ministers and assistant ministers than in the intellect and innovation and resourcefulness and sacrifice of the civil service and the civil servants whom we work with. This belief inspires me every day, despite the challenges that I face as Prime Minister. In closing, now this is real closing, I thank you again for your sacrifices and ask that you continue serving our people to the best of your ability, because every one of us has a role to play in building the future that we want for our children and our grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Happy Civil Service Day. Thank you all very much.